so much discussion about a possibility of a slowdown. How is BB&T seeing loan demand?
Well, glad to be back. Loan demand is actually very good. Actually, production is very high. Our pipeline, where we kind of measure, all of the applications in process, are at an all-time high. And so we're seeing a broad-based level of confidence, a broad-based level of, willingness to borrow money to invest in plant and capital and equipment. So overall, it's very good. The on the street doesn't match up with a lot of the kind of national rhetoric that you hear.
And in your experience, your long history, Kelly, running a bank, do people borrow money? Do businesses borrow money when they sense a slowdown is imminent?
They do, Brian. It's interesting. Yeah, they do. I travel around and I talk to lots of business people one-on-one. And so when I talk to them, they talk about their business. They're interested in chatting about, the national issues. But when you get right down to what they're going to do, they focus on their business. So if their actual market, if their actual business is slowing down, then of course they'll reduce their investment. But if it's just a lot of a general conversation, they'll talk about it. It might cause them some uneasiness. But when they go right back to the office, they'll focus on running their business.
From all the numbers, though, in the quarter and the year so far, Kelly, that you have seen, do you believe we will be in a recession in 12 to 18 months?
I actually do not. I'll be honest, 6 or 8, 9 months ago, I was a little more concerned about the possibility of that. There was just so much rhetoric about, spend 10 years and after a while, everybody begins to, have that affect you a bit. But as I've gotten out and traveled around and talked to business people, as I've seen the strength, just what you've been reporting just in the last hour or so, strong retail sales, low unemployment, low jobless claims, underlying strong GDP, no major geopolitical risks that seem to be eminently problematic. I don't see, and certainly in the next 12 to 18 months, I do not see an imminent slowdown. I think that you could have some existential factors that could cause that, but I don't think it's predictable at this time.
The one thing that stood out to me that was a little bit shocking, I guess, Kelly, is that your net interest margin, NIM, rose only 2 bips, literally tiny percent.
We'll take what we can get.
I know, but it rose even as interest rates collapsed in the first quarter. How did that happen?
Well, we have a very, very strong core, what we call core deposit funding structure. We're like a really big community bank. We operate a regional bank structure. We're in a lot of rural areas. We're in metro urban areas as well. But we have a lot of stable deposits. They're not as price sensitive. They're more focused on relationships, a lot of small business clients. And so our NIM pressure is more a function of, what's happening in our local markets than it is in the national markets. So when you hear a lot of national discussion about changes in NIM, it doesn't inherently affect us. Now, sometimes if we, do some external large and negotiable instrument funding, that'll, move our NIM around a little bit. But in this particular quarter, what we really saw was that our funding was increasing, but our rate of return on assets was increasing at a faster rate.
One quick last question. You're paying an advertising agency a lot of money to come up with a new brand between SunTrust and BB&T when you merge. Can you give us some kind of a hint as to what that's shaping up to be? Because SunTrust and BB&T could mosh together like some kind of kid's drink if you're not careful.
Yeah. Well, Brian, the reason we decided to pick a new name versus using either one of the others or some combination is because our merger is about improving profitability, which it does enormously. But it's much more importantly about leaning forward, about major investments in innovation and technology. It's about really getting excited about meeting the needs of the clients in terms of technology and trust, kind of that blended relationship between technology and the branches. And so we want a name that kind of points forward, that excites our clients, excites our associates, and excites the market in general to say, this is an institution that is moving forward, it is energized and trying to take care of the community at large and the clients in particular, and we think we can find such a name.